Welcome to part 2 of my fitted hat tutorial. We left off at the beginning part of our brim because I didn't have enough storage on my phone. So now we're just gonna finish this brim and then we're gonna do the ears in this video. Thank you for watching my video and let's get started. So picking up from where we left off in our last video, we are just going to do a double crochet all the way across the brim, like so. Now, if you missed it in the first video, I am using a 5mm hook for this brim. Again, that is a stylistic choice. You don't have to use a 5mm hook for this. I just do because I like the way it looks. And we're just gonna do this all the way around. And I will meet you right back here once I am finished with this first round of double crochet. Okay, so we made it to the other side where our stitch marker is, and we are going to chain 2. 1, 2. You're gonna turn your work and or your hat. And in that same stitch that we just chained 2, we are going to place a double crochet like so. And we are going to double crochet again for another round all the way across to the other side. There are so many different ways to do the brim. You are not held down to just one specific way. And I also want to kind of encourage you guys to, it is so easy to copy something that you saw and that you like. But I would say mix it up, get a little creative. I think that's what's fun about crocheting, is that you can be creative as you want to be, as long as you have the basics. The foundation never changes, but the work, the art of it should never be the exact same as someone else's. Just have fun with it. Be creative. Do you, But yeah, you're just gonna continue to do this double crochet all the way around. That was my little tangent. I'm sorry. So if you guys do actually follow this tutorial and make your hats, I would love to see how they turn out. That's one thing that's really exciting for me, is seeing everyone else's interpretation and, style and how they do this. I would love to see that. So if you would like to tag me in any of your artwork or any of your crochet, please do so. Definitely, my Instagram is down below. Tag me. Okay, so now you made it to the other side where the crochet, you made it to the other side. You put a double crochet into the last stitch, and now you're going to chain 2, like so. And then pretty much turn your work again. Now here, you're going to skip the first 2 stitches. So right here is where you're going to place your double crochet into the 3rd stitch. Okay. And then you're going to continue to double crochet all the way around until you get to the 3rd to last stitch. In the 3rd to last stitch, you are going to place a decrease. Okay. Again, at the beginning of that stitch here, you're going to skip the first 2 stitches, and in the 3rd stitch, you're going to place your double crochet, and you are going to continue the row of double crochets until you get to the 3rd to last stitch. Don't get discouraged about the brim. The brim is really easy. There's so many different ways to do the brim. It also kind of depends on your size of the brim. Like if it's longer, this pattern will change a little differently, meaning you will just either do your decrease in the second to last stitch, or you'll do your decrease in the third to last stitch sooner. So just play around with it. Until I get to my third to last stitch. And you're gonna place a decrease. I know there's a way you can do a double crochet decrease. I just don't do that in this. I don't know why. I'm sure it looks better. But I just don't do it that way. So now that we did our decrease, you're going to chain 2 again, like so. 1, 2, and then you're going to place. You're going to skip the first 2 stitches again and place your double crochet into the third stitch. And you are going to double crochet all the way across until you get to the second to last stitch. And the second to last stitch, you are going to place a decrease. Like so. And you can kind of start to see this shape of the bill. It is okay if your crochet is a little bit bigger than the brim, because you're just going to do slip stitches all the way around, and it's going to create like a little holder for the brim of your hat. It's going to hold the brim of your hat, and you'll start to see that in a moment here. Now there is a way to crochet tighter, or so you won't see the hat underneath. But again, I like the way that it looks when the hat peeks through. But I can also show you guys that if you'd like that, please just comment down below and I can give you a quick tutorial on that as well. My second to last stitch. And then I'm going to place a decrease. A decrease here. I'm gonna try to place a decrease here. There we go. Alright. So right now your brim should look something like this. You are not quite finished. So we are going to decrease in the first 4 stitches. So you're gonna do 2 decreases, single crochet, and then 2 decreases in the last 4 stitches. So I'm gonna place a decrease like this. Boop. I'm gonna place another decrease. Like this. Now do a single crochet across like this. Oh, single crochet across until I get to my last 4 stitches, and then I'm going to end this round with 2 decreases. So it's starting to create a little cup for the brim. And that's exactly what you want. Okay. I hope this is making sense. If it is not, if anything that I'm doing is not making any sense to you, please feel free to comment down below and I will answer your questions as to the best of my ability. So I'm going to end this round now on the last 4 stitches by doing 2 decreases. Like so. Crochet should be cuffing your brim like so. Okay. Crochet should start to cup the brim like this. Okay. I do not crochet all the way down here, but we are going to clean this up by doing slip stitches all the way around. So I place my stitch marker here like that. I don't really know how to explain what I'm doing. I am now going to slip stitch all the way along this side until I get to the other stitch marker. Like so. And there's no real place it where you feel fit. Like you feel like it needs the slip stitch there, just place it there. Like that. And then you just kind of pull it down like that. Then you're gonna cut this like that. And then pull that down. Now we're gonna go back to where I placed this stitch marker. And then you're just gonna do a slip stitch all the way around until you get here. Okay, so from here I'm going to slip stitch all the way around until I get to here. I just place my hook there, I slip stitch like that. And then I slip stitch all the way around. Do a single crochet all the way across. If you want to stop here, you can. I just like to do a single crochet all the way across to kind of clean it up, but also just to have that extra little shelf that's holding on to the brim of the hat, kind of holds on to the brim of the hat a little tighter, and that's what I want. So the way that you would assemble this hat is you would use your hot glue gun and glue it to the cap if you'd like. I will be back to show you what the finishing brim looks like, the finished brim looks like. That should start to look like, back of your hat should look like this. I like to glue it down just to give it a little extra security. If you want to continue to make this brim, you can do that. I just tend to stop here. If you don't want to add an extra round of single stitches and stop there, you can definitely do that. It still looks nice. No one knows it looks like that other than you, okay? So your hat should look like this. It should start to look like a hat, just like this, okay? The sides of your hat, the back of your hat, okay? Just want it to look like a hat. Now here's also a little tip for you all. The inside of your hat should not be folded in any way. Now if it is folded, that means you just made your hat smaller. I would say if you're going to hot glue your hat onto a cap, your crochet onto the hat, just make sure that you are taking your time with it, because it will affect the size of your hat. So if you notice that there are folds in your hat before you place your crochet, make sure you fix that before you glue it down. Because you want your hat to be true to size and be able to be adjustable through the back here. Okay, so I pretty much finished the hat. Now we are going to start with the ears. Okay, and I'm going to preference this by saying There are so many ways to do an ear. You are not tied down to one ear. Definitely have fun with it, okay? Because crocheting is supposed to be fun, and don't stress yourself out. You can make so many different ears. You can make horns, you can make rabbit ears, cat ears, floppy dog ears. You are not tied down to one style. I'm just going to show you a simple ear. First things first, you are going to need your 4mm hook. That's what I like to use for my ears, and a stitch marker. But again, you are not tied down to a 4mm hook. It is a stylistic choice. If you want to use a bigger hook, or, you know, it's totally up to you. Again, stylistic choice. I'm just gonna keep saying that throughout my tutorials. You can do whatever you want. You do not have to do it the exact same way as anyone else. Have fun, be creative, and do the thing that you like. And if you like the way it looks, then you like the way it looks. First things first, we're going to do a magic circle. It took me forever to learn how to do a magic circle, but now that I have it, I cannot stop doing it. Okay, so we're just gonna strap. Now in this magic circle, you are going to place 6 single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you're just gonna pull this shorter string really tightly to close off that circle. And then in this stitch, you are going to place a slip stitch like so. All right, so you should have a little circle like this. In the first stitch, you should do 1 single crochet, and then place your stitch marker, because it is so easy to get lost. All right, in the second stitch, you should place an increase. One, 2. So this round is just 1 single crochet and increase all the way around. The next stitch, you are going to do a single crochet, and the following stitch you're going to do an increase, and you're just going to repeat that all the way around. 1 single crochet, increase. The first stitch in the next round, you are going to do 1 single crochet. You want to make sure to replace your stitch marker so you don't get confused. And the second stitch, you're going to do 1 single crochet. And in the third stitch, you are going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And you're going to repeat that around. You're going to repeat that all the way around. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, increase. All right, so here's a little tip as well. You know that you're doing the rounds correctly when the last stitch before you get to the next round is an increase. Now the next round, you are going to do 3 single crochets and then an increase. So in the first stitch, 1 single crochet. In the second stitch, you're going to place 1 single crochet. In the third stitch, you're going to place 1 single crochet, and then in the fourth stitch, you are going to increase. All right, so this next round here, we are just going to place a single crochet in each stitch all the way around. And you're going to repeat that twice. The same thing in this next round, which will be 1 single crochet into every stitch all the way around. All right, since we finished that round, this following round will be 4 single crochets, and in the 5th stitch you're going to place an increase. So 4 single crochet, increase. So in the first stitch you're going to place 1 single crochet, second stitch you're going to place 1 single crochet, third stitch you're going to place 1 single crochet, fourth stitch you're going to place 1 single crochet, and in the 5th stitch you're going to place 2 single crochets, resulting in an increase. Okay, you're going to do that all the way around. All right, now the next row we are going to do 5 single crochets, and then in the 6th stitch you are going to place an increase. Okay, so in the first stitch you're going to do 1 single crochet, replace that stitch marker. In the second stitch you're going to do 1 single crochet. In the third stitch you're going to do 1 single crochet. Third stitch you're going to do 1 single crochet. In the fourth stitch you're going to do 1 single crochet. In the 5th stitch 1 single crochet, and in the 6th stitch you're going to place an increase. Okay, and you are going to repeat that all the way around. All right, in this next row you're going to do 6 single crochets, and in the 7th stitch you are going to do an increase. All right, so in the first stitch 1 single crochet, second stitch 1 single crochet, third stitch 1 single crochet, fourth stitch 1 single crochet, 5th stitch 1 single crochet, 6th stitch 1 single crochet, 7th stitch 2 single crochets, resulting in an increase. So you're just going to increase in every 7th stitch, okay? And you're going to repeat that all the way around. The next row, it really kind of depends on how many rows you want to do this way. If you only want to do 2 rows of 1 single crochet into each stitch, then you can do that. It just makes your ear a little cat ear like that. If you want to do 4, it makes your ear longer. I tend to do about 3 to 4. If you want to do 8, it just makes your ear longer. So it really depends on how many rounds of single crochets you want to do. For the sake of this tutorial, am only going to do 3 rounds of single crochets. Okay. So you're just going to do a single crochet into every stitch for 3 rounds. All right, so I've finished my 3 rounds of single crochets. Again, you can do more. I like to do a little bit more than 3, but for the sake of the tutorial, we're going to do 3. Now, in this next round, you are going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and in the 3rd stitch here we're going to do a decrease, and you're just going to repeat that all the way around. 2 single crochets and then a decrease all the way around. All right, since we finished this row, we are going to do one more row of single crochets into each stitch. So 1, and then just continue to do single crochets into each stitch all the way around. All right, now in the final row of decreases, you're going to place 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch you're going to do a decrease, and you're just going to repeat that all the way around. Again, that's 1 single crochet and then a decrease all the way around. All right, so your ear should be looking something like this. I like to press them in. Creates the shape of an ear. It's pretty cute. You see? And then here, I would do a slip stitch all the way across to kind of flatten out that bottom of the ear. And also it kind of makes it easier, definitely makes it easier to sew your ear onto your hat. And then you want to leave a long tail because we're going to sew this onto the hat, and fasten this off like so. So your ear should look like this. Okay, and you're gonna make another one of these. If you want your hat to have, go ahead and do that. I'll be back once I've made my second ear and I've sewn on my hat to kind of show you the final look. Okay, so this is what the final hat looks like. You can adjust the ears to your liking. I like my ears to be a little bit like this sometimes. This is what the back looks like. This is what your hat should look like. And again, thank you so much for watching. I hope my tutorial made a lot of sense to you. If it didn't, please comment down below and I will clear up any confusions in the comments. You all have a great day. Bye.